So we are now live. So we will just give it a few moments here for folks to join in. Hello, Zach. Welcome. We're just going to give it a few minutes here for a few others to join, so bear with us. Hello, Bryce. Just give us a few moments here. We're gonna let everybody get settled in here, and then we'll talk about a few things, and we'll turn it over to the presentation. So as we're giving others a chance to join here, just a few notes for getting started. First of all, welcome and thank you for joining us. On behalf of WACAC here and StriveScan, we're pretty excited to have you joining us. I'm Alex, I'm a volunteer with WACAC, and I have the exciting pleasure of welcoming Jen for the presentation today. Now, there's a Q&A function here that you'll be able to use as student attendees here. That's how Jen will know that you have some questions. And you'll see that available to you there with the Q&A function. Your camera and microphone are off at the moment. And you also have the ability to sign up for more sessions going forward at wacac.com. So if you find this and you enjoy this, definitely do that. And then we will also be recording this session moving forward, and you'll be able to find that at wacac.com as well. So just know that if you have questions, things like that, you'll be able to find more information on the WACAC website. And of course, I'm sure Jen will talk more about how to get in touch with her as well. So without further ado here, I am going to turn off my camera and my share screen, and then we'll let Jen go ahead and get started. This will be promptly 45 minutes, so just know that that is something, so I will jump back on towards the end and kind of keep us that way. So with that, hello Jen, welcome, and have fun with the presentation.
Awesome, thank you, Alex. All right, hi everyone, I'm Jen in admissions with Michigan Tech. Thank you so much for hopping on tonight. I know it's a beautiful night and there's probably a million other things you could be doing right now besides staring at your computer screen listening to me chat. So I appreciate you taking some time. I am based in the Milwaukee area and work with students from Wisconsin. So I might be pretty close by depending on where home is. And instead of spending a whole 45 minutes talking to you about information about Michigan Tech that you may know already or you may not be interested in knowing, I'd like to take a minute and ask you guys some questions about why you're attending the session tonight. So a couple things on the screen listed. If you take a minute or two and use the Q&A function to type in your responses to one, all, some of these questions, that would be great, and we can base our discussion from there. So I'll just give you a minute or two to do that. All right, great. So we have mechanical engineering, so we can definitely talk about that, chat a little bit more. Size, yep, we can definitely cover the size of campus. Okay, software engineering. So we've got some engineers tonight. Okay, computer science, great. And if you all want to share too, if you don't mind, if you are seniors or juniors or what year in school you are too, that'll help me base some information on there, what I can share with you about either the application or the process that you need to be at right now at this point in terms of exploring Michigan Tech. Starting senior year, fantastic. Great, seniors. Excellent. Well, feel free to share information as we go along. And if things come up that you have questions about, feel free to type it in. If we don't get to a question throughout the presentation, I will get a list of the questions at the end and be able to follow up with you. And there's also ways to connect with me once we get started. So to talk a little bit about our size, so how big is Michigan Tech and how big is Houghton, Michigan, which is where we're located. As you all can see on the map, we are up on the Upper Peninsula. Campus itself is about 7,000 students, and that does include our undergraduate students and our graduate students. What that looks like is our incoming class is usually about 1,250, 1,300 in that range. So large enough that things are going on, but small enough that you're going to know students in your classes and you're going to know your faculty members. Houghton itself is a pretty small town. I don't know whether anybody has visited the Upper Peninsula or northern Wisconsin, but it's pretty remote. We're pretty open and honest with that. And Houghton and Hancock, which is our sister city, which Hancock is across the lift bridge, which is behind me on my background, is the area is about 20,000 people. So small, but everything that you're going to need to get by. So we have a Walmart. It's super Walmart, grocery stores, Walgreens, a lot of local restaurants, fast food places, Culver's, McDonald's, those things that you would have if you need something off campus. Campus itself is just over 900 acres. So it's walkable within 10 to 15 minutes from one end of campus to the other. We do have our student development complex, which is up a little bit of a hill from campus, but everything is walkable. We do have a shuttle system that runs if you were to need to get to the downtown area or a different part on campus if you didn't feel quite like walking up to one of, like I said, the student development complex or maybe one of the further away parking lots. So pretty contained and definitely, if you were to visit or do a virtual tour, which we'll talk about a little bit in the end, you get an idea of the feel and the lay of the land. So give you a little information about our student profile before we go into some of the majors and things that you all mentioned. Our average student coming in, about 3.8 GPA and about a 27 on their ACT. We do have students on both sides of that, and we don't require that for admission. For you all looking at computer science and in the engineering area, we do tend to see students that have a little bit higher on their math ACT score. And in terms of applying to the College of Engineering, we'll look a little bit more at that math ACT score versus your ACT composite. In terms of general information, we can come back to this in a little bit. This is information about our career fair. If anybody has information about, is looking to get information in terms of outcomes, job salaries, where our students are being placed. Our campus job fair is one of the largest in the nation, which is pretty cool. All these companies come up to Houghton, Michigan to recruit our students. This year we are doing a virtual college fair, and we have a lot of companies on board looking to recruit our students, and students actually use an app, and they'll go in and they'll be able to schedule times with companies to chat with them and schedule interviews. So it's a really cool opportunity for our students to remotely connect with these companies and get hired to do internships, co-ops, and full-time jobs in their area of study. And those companies often are recruiting students in our engineering and our science field. We have about 60% of our students in our College of Engineering and about 80% in our STEM field. So in those areas that you all mentioned, those are where the companies are really looking to hire. So you guys would be right on track in terms of getting a job and getting connected with those companies. We talked about a little bit about the areas of interest. I know sometimes students think we only do engineering and we only do science, which it sounds like that's what you all are interested in, but we do have a lot of other opportunities. So if you have other interests, maybe something on the side that you'd like to learn a little bit more about, maybe you want to continue to study a modern language, we have opportunities to do that. And just know that we have lots of choices from, you know, our College of Business to some of our visual and performing arts. So you're not just surrounded with engineering and computer science students. You can choose to do that if you are interested in doing that, but that there's a lot of different other opportunities going on campus. And we also have accelerated master's programs. So this is a really cool thing at Michigan Tech where students are able to get their bachelor degree in 4 years and then spend 1 additional year getting their master's. So not only does it save students time, but it also saves you money. And we do have those programs in the areas that you all are interested in pursuing. It's not something that you need to decide now, but it's definitely something that as you're looking at programs, thoughts in terms of if you want to do a bachelor's, master's, PhD program, to know that that's an option at Michigan Tech and to save you some time and save you some money down the road. Just in terms of how you're learning, we have a lot of lab work at Michigan Tech, and you'll find that across the board in all of the majors, particularly in the STEM focus field. So a lot of opportunities to interact with your faculty members, get involved with research. Our students are really collaborative, they're not competitive, and so you'll find students helping one another, whether it's in the residence halls, in the dining halls, if it's in a study group, working together to solve problems versus competing against one another. We cap labs at 21 because we want to make sure you as a student are working with the equipment and working with the components that you would work with when you graduate. And that's one thing that employers consistently say about Michigan Tech is that they're ready to hit the ground running when they do graduate. And there's a very little learning curve in terms of what they need to teach the student to get them going. And that's why we consistently have so many companies at our career fair and our job fairs recruiting our students for those positions. We have opportunities for experiential learning. I'm sure you've heard that term a lot. It's thrown around. It's kind of one of those fancy words that everybody likes to say. But we do have a lot of opportunities for students to do this type of learning, group learning, things that you might not have the opportunity to do in a traditional classroom. We have what's called our enterprise teams, and those are groups of students that work together as a business. They are cross-disciplinary, so students from any major can join. Some are focused on specific areas. So for example, we have our green campus. They're focused on more of our environmental standpoint, but that doesn't mean a student from the College of Business couldn't join and get involved in some aspect if they have a passion for that. Enterprises are academically noticed, so you would get credit on your transcript from Michigan Tech. And in some of the majors, it's actually either required to do an enterprise or a senior design project, which senior design projects are similar to enterprise in terms of the group work and project work, but they're within your major. And the project tends to be a little bit smaller, whereas enterprise projects tend to be a little bit longer in length. For example, in this next slide, there have been 5 different senior design groups that have worked on creating basically an infant stint, which you can see in the lower gray netting of this picture. It's a really cool project. Basically what happens is it reduces the amount of surgeries that an infant has to have very quickly when they're very young. So it's been a really cool ongoing project to see different students work and present their work. This is actually a poster that was presented at our Design Expo, which is every spring, and it highlights enterprise work and design work, and a really cool place to learn about what fellow students are doing. Whenever I walk through there, it always blows my mind the cool things that the students have been able to get involved with and the things that they've learned and they're able to share with us across campus. Opportunities to continue education in an international experience, whether that's through a traditional study abroad program or whether it's through maybe our Pavlov's Honors Institute, which is open to all students, and you don't have to have a certain ACT or GPA to join. So it's a really awesome opportunity to pick up additional skills, learn some leadership opportunities, and really take what you're doing on campus and create a pathway of your own And one of the pathways is an international experience. So if that's something that you're interested in, it's definitely something that you would want to check out and see if that's something that interests you. Lots of opportunities to get involved. Not sure if anyone else is apologize for that, into any extracurriculars, any sports that you're interested in learning a little bit more. If anybody is interested in anything specific, if you want to throw that out in the Q&A, and I can chat a little bit about that. But in general, we have about 240 opportunities for student organizations, and those range from everything from our pep band, which is pictured here. They're officially one of the loudest pep bands in the nation, pretty crazy. They have a lot of fun at football games and hockey games and across campus, to sports clubs, academically related groups, so related to maybe your major, you go to a competition, conferences to learn more, have the opportunity to be a part of papers that are written, which is pretty cool. We have religious groups, student organizations that do volunteerism, and really everything running the gamut. So if there's things that you hope to get involved with and would like to continue, there's definitely an opportunity for you. Because of our small size, as we talked about a little bit at the beginning, you know, it really makes for a close-knit community. And because of our location being a little bit remote and being far away, our students get pretty creative. Students don't really go home on the weekends. You definitely can. Being students from Wisconsin, you actually have a shorter drive home than a lot of our in-state students do. Our average student comes from about 8 to 10 hours away. So you all are a little bit closer and would have a little bit easier of a time getting home. But for the most part, students stick around. They do different activities. They stay pretty busy on Michigan Tech and in the surrounding area by, you know, hanging out with their groups, study groups, exploring the area, whether it's through, you know, winter carnival, enjoying the snow. I don't know if anybody is interested in any snow activities, but we do a lot because our average snowfall is just over 218 inches a year, as well as just kayaking, canoeing, enjoying all the beauty of the area when it's not snowing as well. Mention a little bit about our snow. This is actually a picture from Mount Ripley, which is our own ski hill that we own and operate on Michigan Tech's campus. It's actually across the lift bridge again, as you can see campus at the bottom. The opportunities for free skiing and snowboarding for students, that's a part of our tech experience that a few years ago, the undergraduate student government really wanted to allow an opportunity for students to explore the area and explore things on campus without having to pay extra. So they rolled that out. Students were really excited about it. So that does include the ski hill, our golf course, Gates Tennis Center, so our indoor tennis center, visual and performing arts, recreational sports. It supports some of our outdoor adventure program initiatives, which is located on campus, and they rent equipment out that students can take and explore the areas, as well as they do trips and seminars too that students can participate in. So it's a really cool project to really allow you to explore different things that you might not have been able to had they not had this experience tech initiative put in place. So kind of something to keep in mind as you're looking at Michigan Tech. Athletics is pretty fun at Michigan Tech. We're Division I for ice hockey and Division II for athletics. All the games are free for students to attend. And we just added esports, which will be starting this fall, and it is co-ed. And there are scholarship opportunities for all these items, all these sports listed. So if that's something that interests you, you can let me know and we can get you connected with the coaches, the contact information, or if you're just interested in watching, you know, your Huskies play, know that those are opportunities on campus to check out and have fun at the games and the events. Since you all are either starting your senior year or about to start your senior year, talk a little bit about the admission process and where you want to be at this point. Step one, learning about the institution, which is great that you guys are here. Our application is free and it's online, and there's no essays required for most of our majors, including the ones that you all listed at the beginning. So you just have the application. Then we do require your official high school transcripts. We know that they might look a little bit different based on the current situation that's going on. That is fine. As long as they're official, we will work with that. And then we do require ACT or SAT scores typically. For the 2021 year, we are going test optional. So hopefully you all had a chance to take them in February when your school participated or when Wisconsin participated in the ACT testing. If you didn't, know that that is okay, and hopefully ACT or SAT will get their things in line and we'll be able to start offering some tests coming up here soon. But again, we won't require that for admission. There will be some scholarship pieces that may be tied to the ACT and SAT. But again, we're waiting to hear if there'll be more tests offered and when, and go from there. Our application is open already. I'm not sure if anybody's applied or not, but it's a fairly, like I said, easy process online. And it is a rolling application, so you can apply at any time throughout your senior year. Typically, we do have most of our students, I would say, apply August through early November, just keeping everything in line in terms of a timeline, and then making sure that you're ready to apply for financial aid pieces, scholarships, those sorts of things. And we do have a pretty quick turnaround time. We don't hold applications. You usually hear back from us within about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the time of the year and the season. We'll get back to you pretty quick. Mention a little bit about scholarship and financial aid. We know Michigan Tech is an investment. We are an out-of-state school. You all are coming from Wisconsin, so you're considered non-residents. And so I'd like to talk a little bit about that. About 90% of our students do receive financial aid, whether that's scholarships, grants, loans, working on campus, participating in leadership opportunities like Army, Air Force, participating in the residence halls, just any type of thing to work on campus and have leadership opportunities. That's great for students who are looking for a little extra money, and then also obviously the leadership benefit. Co-ops and internships are another way that our students pay for college. Maybe they take a semester, take the summer, hold a job that not only they're going to get some great experience at, but they're able to take that funding and apply it towards their next semester costs. And there's also community organizations that hire our students to do outreach. We actually currently have students on campus working as contact tracers for COVID-19 testing, which we are running pretty steadily on campus for asymptomatic students. So it's a great way for students to get paid, learn a little bit about campus, and help themselves get through college. I want to highlight 2 of our larger scholarship programs that you may be interested in. Our first is our Leading Scholar program, which is going to be based not only on academics, but also leadership experience and involvement in either your high school or community organization. There's some details about that included, but basically the deadline is October 15th of this year. So you guys have a couple months. It's a 1-page essay and a letter of recommendation. So that's from a teacher, but it can be a community member, a coach, whoever you're connected with that's going to share your story with us. At this time, we currently have 30 Michigan residents come up and 10 non-Michigan residents come up. This competition is going to be held virtually this year, and so there is discussion within the financial aid office of increasing the number of finalists that we're able to bring to this competition. So definitely keep that in mind as you're applying or looking at information on our website about that. And the scholarship's pretty big. It's renewable for 4 years, 8 semesters. 3 finalists receive full non-resident tuition, and the additional 7 finalists currently receive $20,000 per year for up to 4 years. So it's a fantastic one to be awarded. Our next scholarship basically is a great one because you don't have to do anything to get it. That's great. That's nice, right? It is our National Scholars Program, and it's going to be based on your ACT composite and or SAT and your GPA. So you can use the matrix and see what category you fall in, anywhere from copper up to platinum. And this is renewable for 4 years, again, 8 semesters, as long as you maintain a 2.5 GPA on campus. So, you can see where you're at right now, and then you can automatically deduct that off of the cost of Michigan Tech's cost. These are typically awarded late fall. Again, waiting on ACT and SAT, they may come out a little bit later this year based on that. But if you already have those test scores and know approximately where your cumulative GPA is, you'll be able to get a rough idea of that. And we also have our net price calculator on our website that you can put in your information and use to estimate what your costs are going to be at Michigan Tech. So that's a great resource as well. talk a little bit about touring campus. Right now, we don't have any physical tours, on-campus tours going on, but we're hoping to get those started up by late September based on health recommendations and how our Michigan Tech phasing is going on campus. When we do have those up and running, we offer 2 tours daily, Monday through Friday, and we have 1 Saturday tour a month during the academic year. You get to see campus with a student tour guide. You do have an academic department meeting, so you all get to meet with folks from mechanical engineering, software engineering, and computer science, and chat with them about what your schedule would look like, what you'd be able to get involved with, those types of questions, as well as just to explore the area. We offer VIP passes for all of our students and families that come that allow you to either attend a sporting event, check out the tech trails, which is a fantastic trail system right on campus, work out at the student development complex. There's a whole list of things based on what's going on during your visit, during the time that you're there, and that you get to pick from. In the meantime, when we aren't doing on-campus tours, we have a lot of virtual options, and they can be found at the website that I included on this slide. There's everything from an interactive map that you can click on and learn a little bit more about each of the buildings. It does include some videos at each of the spots, so something to check out, as well as we have some pre-recorded events, opportunities to meet one-on-one with an admissions counselor. We are currently offering a virtual tour which has a tour guide included. So your tour guide would talk you through the interactive map and answer any questions you might have. So those are all opportunities that allow you to connect with Michigan Tech virtually for now, and then hopefully in person soon when we get to that point. And really next is if you all have any questions. I know I threw a lot of information at you, and so I wanted to make sure that we left enough time at the end to ask any specific questions about maybe the major, if you have any questions about classes, applying, anything like that. I would be happy to answer those right now. Also, all of our contact information is here, so you can feel free to email me, call me, text me at this number and the email listed, or if you'd like to set up a one-on-one time to chat via Zoom, Google Meet, either a phone call, whatever works best for you. That's really your opportunity to do that at that time. So I will leave that up and give you guys a minute or two if you have any questions. If you want to let me know where you're at with the application process, I'd be curious to hear that too if anybody wants to share. All right, so question about the app due date. We don't technically have a due date. We've seen students apply as late as really summer after their senior year. In terms of financial aid and getting that process, I would recommend really, I would say probably by December, but this year I did see a lot of students apply in February and March as well. So based on, your financial aid, your free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA, opens up October 1. And schools will use that information to create financial aid packets for you. If you have applied and been accepted and then submit your FAFSA to Michigan Tech by December 1, we process your financial aid packets and you have those usually by the end of December. So you could use that as a reference in terms of a due date, but we don't necessarily have a hard, fast due date necessarily. Good question about esports. I don't know the specific ones off the top of my head. Let me check here really fast and see if I have a list of them. I know they're on our website, and I know I have chatted with students about that. Hang tight. Check one other place for you. This is what I would do if we were at a physical college fair, actually talking with one another, right? You guys wouldn't have to listen to me talk the whole time at you. All right, I don't have a list really quick that I can find. I don't want to bog you guys down while waiting, but I will definitely follow up with you and let you know specifically which ones we have. Any other questions that you all have? Curious about Michigan Tech or where you guys are at with the application process or application process in general at any of your schools? All right. Well, I will let you all get on with your evening. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes here and checking out Michigan Tech. Hope it answered some of your questions. Again, if you have further questions, feel free to reach out in any way with this contact information that I provided. We'll also be following up after this presentation just with some additional information and ways to contact me there. Otherwise, that's all I have, and I hope everyone has a great night tonight.
All right, can everybody still see me now as well? Am I back? Okay, getting a yes from Jen, so that is great. I'm just gonna do kind of my final reminder here. So thank you everyone, as Jen said, for joining us. After this event, you will get a survey. It'll take about 40 seconds to do that. It's 4 questions, super easy. Again, don't forget to sign up for more sessions at wacac.com, and then the recordings will be available at wacac.com as well. With that, thank you again. Thank you, Jen, for your time tonight. You're amazing as always. And otherwise, everybody, have a wonderful night.